racing to the runoff election. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Coe.
And I'm Marvin Hurst. The landscape of the city council still undecided. Tomorrow, voters will decide who fills 5 seats. Polls open in just 9 hours.
One of the hotly contested races is in District 2. Voters will choose between the incumbent and a gay math teacher looking to make history. Tonight, Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos met with both candidates ahead of the big day.
We are positive.
We are excited.
Jada versus Jalen, the two candidates for City Council District 2. The incumbent, Jada Andrews-Sullivan, is hoping to keep her seat.
You have someone that's right here from your same community, someone that has lived through watching the gun violence. You're not getting someone that has to learn. You're getting someone that already understands.
Her opponent, Jalen Mckee-Rodriguez. He actually snagged more voters than the councilwoman last month.
I never in a million years thought that when I entered this race, people wouldn't think I was black.
He is a 26-year-old high school math teacher who used to work for the councilwoman, and now he wants her seat. If elected, he would be breaking barriers.
I would be the youngest person to represent District 2 ever. I would be the first openly gay man elected to City Council. I would be the first openly gay black man elected in Texas.
District 2 is in the city's east and northeast sides. It hasn't seen a stable representative in the last several years.
Right now, Henry, I have been the 6th council person in 5 years. So do we continue this revolving door, or do we say today is the day that we stop the revolving door?
We deserve our person who's going to be there, who's going to work hard, who's going to represent the community, and we haven't necessarily gotten a long-term version of that.
Henry joins us live from City Hall. So Henry, let's talk brass tacks. What are the top 3 issues facing District 2?
All right, Marvin, let's break it down. Let's start with the incumbent Councilwoman Andrews-Sullivan. Her top 3 issues: safety, economic development. She's also concerned about the youth and the seniors in the district. As for her opponent, Mckee-Rodriguez, infrastructure, an equitable and fair budget. He also wants to make sure there is a fair police union contract. We're live from a new and improved City Hall tonight. Henry Ramos, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Henry. Polls are open from 7 to 7 for Election Day tomorrow, and it is not just District 2 up for grabs. There are also runoffs for Districts 1, 3, 5, and 9.